While car makers around the world are quickly transitioning to smaller, more fuel-efficient cars, it seems like Australians, Americans still haven't got the memo, and it doesn't get much bigger or bolder than the Chrysler 300S. The new S model slots into the mid-range of the Chrysler 300 stable, receiving basically all the options available on the flagship SRT8, but without its 6.4 litre V8 Hemi under the bonnet. Instead, the 300S comes fitted exclusively with a 3.6 litre V6, producing 210 kilowatts and 340 newton meters. Fuel use is rated at 9.4 litres per 100 combined, while pricing starts at under 50 grand before on-road costs. The 300S reiterates just why the Ford Falcon and Holden Commodore have been so successful in Australia and still are to a certain degree. It combines a 3.6 litre V6 engine with really spacious ergonomics that really come to the fore on highway trips. The biggest emission from this car is the 6.4 litre V8 Hemi that's found in the higher SRT8 versions. And while the V6 is severely down on power, it still is a comfortable cruiser and great for everyday driving. One thing we noticed during enthusiastic driving in particular is that it can feel a little bit lethargic, and that probably comes back to the car's 2-tonne curb weight. The accompanying 8-speed automatic does a really good job of making use of that full 210 kilowatts of power with smooth, snappy shifts. There's also a sports mode for enthusiastic driving, as well as paddle shifters on the steering wheel. One criticism though is that the gear shift lever can be a little bit fiddly to get between gears, but once you get used to it, it's not too much of a problem. At over 5 metres long and nearly 2 metres wide, you can be forgiving for being a little circumspect about the 300's ride and handling. But, as we found, it's a surprisingly adept handler in most settings, and certainly more agile than its hulking dimensions would suggest. The steering on the 300S is really light and accurate. Although it doesn't weigh up through corners, it's really user-friendly, particularly in shopping car parks. Despite its 20-inch wheels, the 300S is quite a smooth ride. One complaint though is the rear suspension, which is quite noisy over sharp bumps. With the exception of the noisy rear end, this thing's actually really well insulated from road and wind noise, and it really acquits itself well as a long hauler. But it's on the inside where the car's character really comes through. There's red leather seats with white stitching, soft touch materials in all the contact points, as well as piano black highlights. There's no shortage of head and legroom in any of the 5 pews, as well as a generous boot and split fold seats. Other standard features include an 8.4-inch touchscreen with sat-nav, climate control and smart key entry. Luckily, the 300C does come with front and rear parking sensors, as well as a reversing camera, which you will need in tight spaces. Well, Americans generally love their pampering and creature comforts, and that really comes out in the fitment and finish of the 300S. All the materials in the back are soft and nice to touch. There's a really good use of leather. The seats are actually heated in the rear, which is pretty rare, and there's an electric rear blind as well. On top of that, there's a great use of storage, even down to a little compartment here in the folding armrest. One of the nifty functions in this car is the cup holders, which have a heating and cooling function. And on a couple of occasions we've thrown a can of drink in there and it actually keeps it ice cold. While it might not be everyone's cup of tea, the new 300S offers a refreshing take on large car luxury. It basically offers all the bells and whistles, but without the big V8 fuel bill. It truly fits the bill for anyone that wants to make a big, loud American statement.